Hey yo, Chris here, and thanks for tuning into the Delta. Today, we get to do a little bit of something fun, something silly, something not so serious. And that was the goal to do some more content like this when I created the channel, but with all the news like Lewis Hamilton going somewhere and all the car launches and and the news with Christian Horner and it's just so much stuff going on. I wanted to create some fun content. Not that the other content isn't fun. I enjoy making the headline news stuff and I enjoy doing hot laps and beginner guide stuff. But that stuff takes a lot of research and planning and script and stuff like that. And this is a little bit more off script, a little bit more casual and just to get to have a little bit of fun with what we know and what we're going to find out. But before we get started, I'd just also like to say I have a Twitch channel, and what I'm thinking of doing is some live content on race weekends prior to the race. Doing stuff like F1 2024 or Formula One Manager, something like that. Something to have just to be able to hang out, talk about race stuff, or just come in and say hi. I'd like to meet some people and just get ready for the race weekend, and we'll be playing that race, obviously, of that weekend. But and then the final thing is that we also have 10 subscribers. Now that doesn't sound like a lot because, well, in YouTube standards, that's not a lot. But to me, that's a lot. To me, it means a lot to have 10 people that are interested enough in hanging out, watching the videos, so on and so forth. I appreciate it immensely. It's the motivation that I use to constantly try to do better, not just put out content. I feel anyone can put out content, but to actually like learn from the mistakes and get better, the subscriber base is what makes me get that motivation. And for that, I thank you so much. But let's move on and let's start ranking these liveries from worst to first. All right. Well, let's first set this up. Worst to first, or first to worst in this situation. We'll call this race winners. All these guys on the podium. All these guys just missed podium. C will be mid tier, and these guys will be back the back. Boom, bang. There's all our logos. I wanted to put in the car colors, but it just didn't work out that way. Or the cars themselves, but you can barely see them, so it's not very, very good, in my opinion. So that's what we're going with, like that. And what we'll do is we'll go in order of which they were launched. So the very first car we'll do will be McLaren, who launched on January 16th, surprisingly. It was a fun little launch, unsuspected, and it really got everyone hyped up for the 2024 season. Now, it's interesting because this was prior to us knowing that everything was going to be carbon fiber laden. And like just looking at this, there's a lot of carbon fiber on this car. I don't think it looks bad by any means. They get away with the papaya orange and black. It looks smooth. It looks sharp. I always love the two-tone. And then with the silver accents there with the numbers and the chrome. It's not silver, chrome. Let's get it right. It just looks great. I don't think it's like the best one of all of them. But for McLaren, we will say we will put them at just missed podium right now. I don't think they're the best of the group, but they weren't horrible. And we'll put this all together and put our thoughts together at the end. But I'm pretty sure that they're going to be just missed the podium. Next up was Haas. Now Haas, let's talk about Haas. Haas was uninspiring from start to finish. Now, just looking at their livery, it's not bad. It's pretty cool because I've only known them as white and black. So like it doesn't bother me that it's full of carbon. What were we expecting them to do? What, like, to go black, white, red, and then put in some pink or turquoise? Like, it's just not what Haas would do. Now, you might want to say they're a little overbearing with the black, but overall, the car looks good. I like the color scheme of black, white, and red. Don't necessarily think it stands out in any particular way. So, with that being said, we'll put them at mid-tier. Nothing fancy. That's probably solid. They probably belong there the entire time. All right. And then after Haas came Steak. All right. Steak came in. Now, they're very unique. They're the new team on the block. And their launch was, I wouldn't say the most exciting, but they weren't unexciting either. They put out some really good quality content video or quality production video there. And I mean, look at that green. That green's amazing. You can't beat that green. It's you're not going to miss it on the track. For sure. Now, the question is it the prettiest car or the most amazing livery? Again, I don't necessarily think that. I don't think you're going to get too many points for just being neon green. I think because you just went black and green, that's going to dock you some points. I don't think the design or the patterns or anything like that are too crazy. So, again, Steak, you were close to the podium. You're probably better than Haas. So we'll put you in front of Haas because you're better than Haas, but you didn't get to the podium quite yet. Next up would have to be then Williams. Okay, Williams. Now, I feel that Williams gets bad rap because of their color. Their color is black and blue. And on the grand scheme of things, that's probably not the most exciting color palette that you can have. Now, they do have silver, and the Duracell battery on top of the car is always interesting. But I wouldn't say it's particularly unique. I don't think any of these cars look bad. I just feel that some of them fell short of potential, and that's where I put Williams. They didn't really deliver the greatest of liveries. It's cool. It's nice. The silver line that they have in there looks decent. But sorry, Williams. Much like I think your season is going to go, you're going to go to the back of the pack. All right, moving on to Alpine. Alpine launched on the 7th of February. I don't think it was a bad car launch. Actually, I probably enjoyed that one more than the others because they actually gave information about their car. But we're not talking about the launch itself. We're talking about the car itself. And the car itself, not very good in my opinion. Again, none of them are bad. If this is your favorite one, please, by all means, enjoy the livery. But it's not my favorite one. They have like next to no paint. It's all black. It's all carbon fiber. And they spackled some paint on there. Now, they do get a bonus point for going with 2 liveries, but you lose that bonus point because your pink livery ended up being the same color or the same pattern as the blue livery. Like, you had the blue car and the pink car, and wherever the blue is on the blue car, just insert the pink, and that's the pink car. And that's just not what people want. And it's not what I want. It's pretty boring. It's not going to work. And because of that, despite the 2 liveries, you 2 are going to the back of the pack. Now, the question is, do we give them the edge because of the 2 liveries over Williams? Because Williams only has 1. Or do we give Williams the overhead? I'm sorry. If you're giving 2 liveries, they have to be cool and distinct, and they're not. And because of that, Alpine, you lose. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go directly to jail. Done. Visa Cash App RB is next. RB for short. RB. Well, what do we have to say about them? They launched on the 8th or 9th, depending on the time zone. It was a really weird situation. I stayed up for it, expecting a cool launch in Vegas. Didn't get it. But that's neither here nor there. Their car was awesome. It was a really, really, really awesome car. We got the blue, we got the silver. Great lines. Everything mixes very well. They put like the Red Bull can. Have you ever seen a Red Bull can with the bull on top? It comes across the top like that. Same thing. It looks really great. And there's no carbon fiber. They get so many points for the no carbon fiber. It just one of those cars that it's gonna stand out because it doesn't look like any of the other cars. So despite it being a bottom tier team, in my opinion, it's a great, beautiful looking car, well put together with great color schemes. You're going to have to go onto the podium there, RB. Hopefully you have some good races that get you some podiums, but I don't see that happening. But in this world, with your livery, you get to the podium. Now, on February 12th, Aston Martin launched theirs. Aston Martin, well, it wasn't the most pretty of cars. Just because it's bland. I don't want to say it's not pretty. It is a pretty car. It has that beautiful Aston Martin green, that yellow line that comes across the middle there, and two-toned with some black carbon fiber. But not so much carbon fiber, I want to vomit. So, overall, we're a smooth, classic-looking race car here. I think we're going to have to make a move, though, because originally I want to sit there and say that's where Aston Martin belongs, is just missed the podium. But we have Steak over here. And they're just that neon green. What's more exciting? Is that neon green more exciting than the Aston Martin green that is classic and traditional? I love classic and traditional, probably because I'm getting old. But I think what we need to do is we need to put Steak up. That's been made. Final decision made. Steak, you just missed the podium because Aston Martin was boring. Still pretty, but boring. Now, obviously, Aston Martin gets more than Haas because it's just not inspiring in any way. But, yeah, that's what we're going to go with. Mid-tier for Aston Martin. Steak, you just missed the podium. On the final lap, you passed Aston Martin and came in 5th place. Here it is. This is easy. The next up is Ferrari. Ferrari launched on February 13th, and this is easy. Ferrari goes 100% beautiful all the time. S tier, top tier, race winners. No questions asked. I'm just kidding. It was not the greatest. It was pretty. I will say that. The car is still beautiful. I just don't think they win the most beautiful car award like they did last year. Last year's car, they were, in my opinion, the most pretty car, most beautiful car. This year, it's a cool looking car. You can still tell that it's a Ferrari. You can see the Ferrari red a mile away. They did all that cool stuff, but I think you kind of lose some points with those red wheels. I don't necessarily hate the red wheels. It's just, I don't know. I don't think I've warmed up to them. I don't think you're gaining points, at least, because of those red wheels. What did else? That yellow line with the white line coming across is a really cool accent. I think that's something that's nice. and different from last year, where last year I feel like they went very solid with their red and black, and that was it. This year they added some more accent colors with the yellow and white lines and the yellow trim around the numbers. Very, very well done. As much as I'd want to give them the race winners, there is a team that clearly has a more beautiful car than them this year, in my opinion. So, Ferrari, you are on the podium. Now, are you better than RB? Screw it. Yes, you are. You're better than RB. Okay? Red attracts my eyeballs more than blue. That's why. There's no rhyme or reason to it. If you disagree, yell at me in the comments because I don't think so. Who came after that? Okay. Mercedes. Mercedes launched next February 14th on Valentine's Day. And what a Valentine's Day treat it was. The launch was boring as hell. But again, we aren't rating the launch itself, so they don't get any dock points for that. Okay, and now we move on to Mercedes. Mercedes launched on February 14th with one of the most boring car launches, I think, this year. Luckily for them, they do not get docked points for that because we aren't grading the launch. However, they make up for it in the car. Most beautiful car award, in my opinion, goes to Mercedes. I know that it's a lot of black, but it vibes different than last year's black car. They added that silver to the nose and that green line on the sides there, and it's just sharp. It's sleek. It's beautiful. Like I said, a lot of black still, but Mercedes pulls the black off better than any other team. Even Ferrari. I think Ferrari pulls off black very well. Aston Martin pulls it off very well, but not as good as this year's Mercedes. Like I said, the greenish teal lines across with the silver on the nose. Boom, even more points. So last year, Ferrari had the most beautiful car, and they had this been dethroned by Mercedes. Mercedes wins. No regrets on this decision. Easy peasy lemon squeezy race winners for the livery race of 2024. And then that finally leaves for us Red Bull. They launched the next day on the 15th. They by far had the most exciting launch, but unfortunately for them, no points for an exciting launch in this contest. What is there to say about them? Well, they're dark blue, and they put black. It's not ugly. It's just not exciting either. It's hard to tell because of the dark blue and black where we're distinguishing the lines. I can't tell the line. It's not like I'm sitting here going, "Oh wow, like look at that! Like at least the two-tone is separated." It's a really dark blue, and black is a very dark color as well. So I think on the track you're gonna see the dark blue before you see the black anyway. But I don't think it was too amazing for points for them though. I think the yellow and red puts everything together well, and the bull on top of the car is great use of their brand, just like RB did as well. Except that this is a lot more like brand of Red Bull, just with the red and the yellow and coming across, charging forward. Overall, a great looking car. I don't necessarily. Well, now you got to think. We're looking here at the tier list. Is it better, significantly better than MoneyGram Haas or Aston Martin? And I do have to say, if I'm putting Aston Martin in the mid-tier and Haas in the mid-tier, I think Red Bull has to go above Aston Martin. Now the next question you run into, I don't think it's nicer than McLaren. I think McLaren holds fourth position very well. The question is, do you like neon green more than you like a classic matte blue and matte black color? Because I feel both have a place on a race car, but I don't necessarily think one is better than the other. It's, I think the neon green with the new team and the new brand and the new colors is more exciting than same old Red Bull. I don't think Red Bull did anything spectacularly different to this year's car. It still looks like a Red Bull from a mile away. So, Steak, you got 5th place. All right, so that's the tier list right there. We have the race winners and Mercedes. On the podium, Ferrari and Red Bull take 2nd and 3rd. McLaren comes in 4th, just missing the podium, with Steak in 5th, Red Bull in 5th or 6th. They were close, but not close enough in my opinion. Now you have the mid-tier teams, which were Aston Martin and Haas. They didn't wow me. They didn't bore me. They just existed. And then back of the pack, Williams was nicer than the Alpine, but still boring. And Alpine was just disappointing. Just a disappointing livery with all that black and all that potential left on the table with two liveries. They had 2 attempts to do something awesome, and they didn't. So they lose the livery race for the 2024 season. All right, guys. That is the tier list for the liveries of the 2024 F1 season. If you disagree with me at all, I'm sure you do, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear what your opinion is. Who do you think should be on the podium? Is Aston Martin better than what I think they are? Does Mercedes deserve to be the race winners? Let's let me know. I am genuinely curious of what other people have to say or think about the liveries this year. Again, I had a ton of fun doing this. I want to do a whole bunch more content, more relaxed and chill, and just overall fun and goofy. Again, Twitch description or Twitch URL will be down below. If you want to come by and say hi. I stream other games as well. Just come on down, say hi. You can give me a follow there if you like, and then just before the F1 season starts, we'll start doing F1 content through more regularly. Thanks again for tuning into the Delta. My name is Chris, and until next time, take care, stay safe, and have fun out there, everybody. Bye. Hey yo, Chris here, and thanks for tuning into the Delta. Oh my god, I'm not even looking at the camera. Where are we at? We're at mark 18 minutes. Boom. All right. We're going to do this again for like the 800th time at minute 22. We've been recording for 22 minutes. I've accomplished nothing. Whew.